Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this new episode of Sartorial Talks. Today, I invite you for a stroll inside my personal wardrobe. Many of you have probably seen the fourth episode that I dedicated to my personal wardrobe back in the years. I think we started this series in 2018, if I remember well, and then we continued in 19. We stopped a little bit in 2020 for obvious reasons, because we couldn't travel to the tailors who were preparing suits and jackets for me. But now we are back, and here we are. I think it's episode number 5 of this journey inside my personal wardrobe, and I'm going to present to you 8 garments that had been made since the last update. One first remark. Some of you, if you are new on this channel, I strongly advise you to go and take a look at the first 4 episodes dedicated to my wardrobe. And you will understand that my aim while sharing with you all my personal wardrobe is not to show off and to say, look how beautiful and fantastic my wardrobe is. Not at all. It's on the reverse. The idea is to share with you my personal sartorial journey, starting from scratch, from nothing in 2007, and then building suit after suit, jacket after jacket, taking sometimes the right decision, sometimes the wrong decision. If you look at the old series, you will understand, for example, that I bought way too late a summer suit, but all is explained in the 4 former episodes. So we put the link, and now this is the 5th update, and I'm going to take you into a beautiful journey with French tailors, Italian tailors, people from the Czech Republic, people from pretty much around the world. And I believe it will be interesting and inspiring for you, because this is the actual aim of this series, is to inspire you and to give you a few advice. So, I don't remember exactly where we were standing. I think we were standing around 28 or 30, but I decided to stop counting because it makes for me like a list. I don't like lists. I'm French after all. And some of you say, okay, why did you take so long to introduce your episode and to say hello and everything? And why don't you go straight to the point, give us the garment, the number of the garment and the price? And I always answer, well, the title of this channel, ladies and gentlemen, is not Sartorial Lists, it's Sartorial Talks. And this is why we love to really deep dive into the subject and really give you some, I hope, valuable advice. So, I will start with the garment, which is right behind me. It's a beautiful, you see this very strong pattern? We're going to show you some B-rolls, of course, some pictures of me wearing it, but this is a very interesting garment. And this garment is very interesting. Why? Because the fabric is very distinctive. This very checked fabric is from Harris Tweed in the island of Harris. Same thing. We produced a wonderful documentary on Harris Tweed 3 years ago. We will put you the link also in the description section of this video. And we have some kind of a love relationship with these people and the islanders, the people who are living in a very tough condition on this island, which is not exactly the island to go for a resort, if you see what I mean. It's a lot of wind. The weather is really difficult, and there's only one place for one car on each road. You have to park every 100 meters. It's a very difficult condition, but the people, they are weaving this fabulous fabric. Well, I was about to say by hand, actually by foot, because they are pedaling like a bicycle. And to have the right to use the name Harris Tweed to receive this stamp, which is called the orb, it has to be checked every night by the Harris Tweed Authority to make sure that the wool has been produced by the ship of the island and has been woven in the traditional way, that is to say, without any mechanization by the islanders themselves. This is why I'm always very proud to speak about this kind of fabric, because it carries with it a lot of tradition, a lot of things that we have a tendency to forget during these days. These people are fighting to keep the work inside their island, on their island, because they are pretty much away from everybody, and to keep their tradition alive, and we can only support that. What is interesting in this jacket is that this jacket normally is a winter jacket, and it is a winter jacket, and has been designed and crafted by a Napolitan tailor. So for me, it's like a tailoring oxymoron. when you say Harris tweed by a Napolitan tailor, it doesn't seem to fit very well together. And look at that marvel. It does fit. Because Pino Peluso is a very inspired tailor. He likes to take risks. He likes to really put all... Sonia wrote in the book Italian Gentleman, because you may or may not know that, well, it's not very fair for her because I signed the book with my name. Actually, she wrote pretty much half of the Italian Gentleman. And she wrote the chapter on Pino Peluso. And the title, if I remember well, is Fully Engaged. And that describes perfectly the art of Pino Peluso in Napoli. When he's doing something, he's putting his body in the middle of the battle. He's a very engaged tailor, and he's a sweet man, by the way. Hello, Pino. How do you do? So I'm happy to present this wonderful jacket. You will notice all the details, the piping on the pockets with leather, all the shape of the patch pocket, and even on the back, these little pieces of leather that give such a personality. This is a jacket I like to wear with a pair of denim, very casual, but it immediately exudes elegance and traditions and quality. So you see, many people say, you know, these people who are in the sartorial art, they're a little bit, you know, stiff, and they like to always wear a tie, and they can be really nonchalant. Oh, well, look at this jacket. This is, for me, nonchalance incarnated. If you're able to pull off, and that's the only limit of this kind of jacket, because the pattern is very strong, but if you're able to pull off something, if you are confident enough with yourself, then this kind of jacket at Pino Peluso, this is bespoke, of course, may be for you. So that's the number one for today, this fabulous Harris tweed bespoke jacket by Pino Peluso in Napoli. Now let's move to jacket number 2. And you noticed I didn't say suit. The two first are jackets. And the jacket number 2, I don't have it around me because I had to present 8, and we only have 5 mannequins. Life goes on like that, you know. But anyway, I think if you are following us on Instagram, you may have seen it already. It's my first 3 buttons jacket. I never had a 3-button jacket. I had a lot of 3-roll too. For those who are not very comfortable with this kind of idea, a 3-roll too is then when you have 3 buttons, but one is hidden into the roll of the jacket. But this one is a real 3-button. Personally, I like to button only the middle one, and it's what I would call a Japanese jacket by Lorenzo Cifonelli in Paris, with this very strange and very unusual fabric from a Japanese mill with these very little pic lapels. And I wore it during an event with my friend Detlef Dim in Munich. It was held by Reiser Manufaktur. It's a shirt maker in Munich, beautiful people. And we did this meet and greet cocktail. I remember it was an adventure for Sonia and me because we decided to drive to Munich with our little Fiat Cinquecento. You know why? Because our plane has been cancelled last minute and we didn't know how to do it. So we decided to hit the road with this little car. And we didn't know that going to Germany can be a battle because with a lot of trucks around the region of Kiel, it was really difficult. And we arrived, it was raining, we couldn't find a hotel. Anyway, so we did make it last minute. Well, by the way, we were 1 hour late, but we did this book signing with this jacket. And for me, it's a little bit of a challenging jacket. It's not that easy to coordinate, but I did it with a black pair of trousers, black shoes, and it was extremely chic, in my opinion. So it's a little bit, it's not the kind of jacket you're going to buy if you start your sartorial journey, of course, but what I like into this is that this jacket is a testimony of the creativity of Lorenzo Cifonelli. Lorenzo could stay in his comfort zone. He got more orders that he can fulfill from people, gentlemen around the world. He's probably one of the most famous tailors now in the world. He still challenges himself every, I would say 6-7 times a year. He's creating this kind of creative garment, and I really admire him for that because he doesn't take anything for granted, and he still tries to make his style move forward with the feeling of the day while being 100% traditional. So jacket number 2, this I call it the Japanese jacket. I don't know if it's right. If Lorenzo is looking at this video, maybe he can say to me if he likes this appellation Japanese jacket or not. But it is a bespoke jacket by Lorenzo Cifonelli in Paris. The third suit, this time it's a suit I want to speak about, is from our friend Pirozzi in Napoli. We talk about Domenico Pirozzi, which is the son. The father is called Nunzio Pirozzi. It's Sartoria Pirozzi, Viale Gramsci, for those who know Naples in Italy, Napoli. And I had already, I think, one suit of them. It's a blue suit that I've been wearing a lot when I was a little bit less fit than I am today. To be honest, with Sonia, at one moment during the writing of The Italian Gentleman, we had so many enormous dinners, fantastic moments with our friend that we put on a lot of kilos, her and myself included. And the only suit I can really fit in was my Pirozzi. Why? Because I don't know why. It sounds like Antonio Liverano in Florence has the same kind of savoir-faire, of know-how, that you put on a Pirozzi suit and you look thin. I don't know why, but it has this kind of science of making even the people who are a little bit more robust than myself look thin. And now I wanted to do like another oxymoron, because I decided to do a winter double-breasted chalk stripe suit with a very heavy fabric from England, from Hardy Minis. I think it's more than 400 grams, so 420 grams. Believe me, if you understand, a normal suit would be around 320 grams, which is normal for season. A little bit lighter now, but 420, believe me, this is a very, very sturdy suit with this fantastic English fabric by Huddersfield. The Hardy Minis is the brown, and look at that. I wore it in airport. I think the first time I wore it, I was in JFK in New York or in Atlanta. We were traveling with it. And believe me, with this kind of suit, you don't need an overcoat, because that's very warm. This is very, it's not heavy in the sense, because people say, oh, you know, I like more fluidity, I like light wool. I said, no, that's one of the mistakes I made when I started my sartorial journey. Of course, I went very, in majority, I went for all-season suit. And I realized very late in my journey that you need seasonal suit. Seasonal suit means a summer suit, because if you need to go to an event during the summer, you can't take all this sweat and this uncomfort because it's too heavy. And on the reverse, I remember myself in the north of Canada connecting to a flight. I have my Super 230 from Piacenza made by Dalcore. I was freezing, literally, even if it was a beautiful suit, because I should have had a real winter suit. That's a real winter suit, ladies and gentlemen. This is with a beautiful, heavy wool, and the Charles Scribe give it like I would say a gangster feeling, a little bit like Chicago, Al Capone, or whatever. By the way, there's a beautiful film that is going on I think it's on Amazon Prime or Netflix. I don't remember which one. It's called The Outfit. And it's the story of an English tailor in Chicago during the Al Capone years. It's a beautiful film. And the funny story about this actor that he used to be a tailor himself. So this is maybe why with Sonia we felt, oh, this guy has the right gestures and almost the right attitude. And we felt it was pretty much credible, because many times some people, they touch our world in movie. We see color gaps, we see stuff that doesn't work really, and this film is great. The Outfit, I have no recall if it's on Amazon or Netflix, but it's quite easy to find. So, that said, so it's our beautiful suit, my beautiful suit number 3 of this episode. It's from Sartoria Pirozzi in Napoli, and this is a beautiful double-breasted with this English sturdy fabric, a winter suit that I already love a lot. Number 4, we're back to a jacket. And I know so many of you have seen, if you follow our Instagram, Parisian_gentleman, have seen this jacket. We were in India, as you may or may not know, a few weeks ago, and we met a friend of us who just traveled like 10 hours to visit us, because India is a big country. And he said to me, what about your green checked jacket in Cashmere? I said, what are you talking about? I said, well, the one you showed on your Instagram at that date, because you were saying, I'm preparing Pitti Uomo. And I couldn't believe my ears with Sonia that this gentleman from India will notice this very jacket that for different reasons I was not able to wear at Pitti. To be honest with you, at Pitti Uomo with Sonia, we always bring, I would say, 15 suits, if not 20, and we are all only able to wear 3 or 4. So this one was in my luggage, but I couldn't really have the time and the opportunity to wear it. So I'm going to present to you it now. It's a beautiful jacket by a great tailor called Ettore de Cesare. Ettore di Cesare, I would say in English, but Ettore de Cesare in Napoli. It's a beautiful and very interesting company, bespoke, of course, and the fabric is from our friends from Drago, but it has one specificity: it is 100% cashmere. So it's not a blend, it's pure cashmere. And of course, it changes everything in terms of comfort, in terms of the feeling of luxury. You know what I like in cashmere is that it's luxury that doesn't say its name. It's not like shining. It's not like a big watch or, I don't know, whatever, a big car. No. Cashmere is very subtle. Only you who are wearing it, you can feel this impression of being blessed in this world. Sometimes I even ask myself, what did I do in life to have this pleasure? To be blessed, to wear this kind of incredible fabric? You know why? Because cashmere is a very interesting fabric. Okay, it's expensive because it's rare. It doesn't come from a sheep. It comes from a goat. So it's a very different kind of hair, literally. But the thing is that it has some crazy thermic properties. It feels very light. Still, it's very warm. Normally, if you want to be warm, you have to wear heavy fabrics. But in this case, and in the case of pure cashmere, and that's the property, it can be very warm and very comforting and very so agreeable to wear, while at the same time being extremely light. And of course, this check pattern is beautiful. The work of Ettore de Cesare is wonderful. The detailing is incredible. And this is a jacket that I'm going to wear probably a lot, specifically during the mid-season. I would say not exactly in the middle of the winter, but mid-season, you know, I would say March, April, fantastic, without an overcoat. I'm talking about the weather, ladies and gentlemen, in Europe. And in part of America, it may be different. In Australia, I know it's reverse. And so when I say mid-season, it may be not mid-season for you. But you understand what I want to say. And it works. It will work very well, for example, in October, November. You know, when it's not really cold, but it's not sufficient. You can't wear your normal suits, and you don't want to bother with an overcoat. This is the kind of jacket you should consider, because it's very easy to wear. And this one, I can wear it with a jean, I can wear it with an hot pant. I think I can wear it with a tie or without a tie. It's a very interesting jacket. So it's my jacket number 4 of this episode, this pure cashmere, the cashmere by Drago, and the jacket has been crafted by Ettore de Cesare in Napoli. So I've been, of course, going to Italy a lot, a little bit around the world, but I always come back and do a suit, maybe a suit per year with Lorenzo, because he's my historical tailor, and I like the way he's developing his art, as I said to you previously. This suit is a 3-piece suit. I don't have so many 3-pieces suit in my wardrobe, as you know. I'm more the double-breasted guy, but this time I followed the advice of my tailor, Lorenzo Cifonelli, and he said, okay, Hugo, you have so many double-breasted. Why don't you go, you know, you have maybe 3 or 4 3-piece. I think you should have more because it's very elegant and you can pull this off very well. So here we are. It's just behind me. It's a beautiful suit, 3-piece, pique lapel, 1 button with a double-breasted vest, and this beautiful fabric that Lorenzo picked by himself. He said, okay, I want to do this suit with this fabric for you. Is from a French company, let's say British-French company called Dormeuil. And so Lorenzo decided to pick by himself the fabric because we know each other so well now. I said, okay, what do you think I should do? And he said, you know, you go with your hair, you should do with a light gray, with a pinstripe. And this is what I did. And so he picked this fabric by Dormeuil. It's a beautiful fabric by this Franco-Britannic, French-British brand called Dormeuil that are crafting excellent fabric. I would say even superlative fabric. They have fantastic ranges of fabric. And this one, I wore it a lot already because, I'm in love with my Cifonellis normally. And so I wore it the first time. I think we were going to visit Kirby Allison. You saw this episode. I'm wearing this suit during the interview we did with Sonia, with Kirby Allison. And then I wore it a lot at Pitti Uomo the first day. And I have a lot of pictures I'm going to show to you now. And I even grabbed Lorenzo when he was coming, arriving at Pitti, and we took a picture really like that with an iPhone together. And we did also this beautiful session of photography with our friend Guillaume Will-Lens. It's his artist name. And so anyway, look at these pictures. This is Cifonelli in the text. Beautiful shoulder. Nothing to say about the fit. Excellent. This is the art of Lorenzo. This is number 5 by Lorenzo and Massimo Cifonelli in Paris, Cifonelli Bespoke, and this fabric by Dormeuil in Paris. Number 6 now. Let's go to the other side of the spectrum. Actually, it's on my right, extreme right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you've been seeing it well. You didn't drink too much, or you don't have like yellow glasses. Sonia, she loves the yellow glasses. She's wearing this vintage Cartier with yellow mirrors, but it's okay. You don't have a problem with your eyesight. It is pure yellow, and I decided to do this. Why? Because, I'm reaching a level of wardrobe that allows me to take a few risks, because I have a lot of gray suit, a lot of blue suit, a lot of green suit, a lot of different suits. And once again, I'm not here to show off the beauty of my wardrobe, but to give you a few advice. And if you bold, at one moment, you feel confident with yourself. For example, I'm wearing a red suit today by my friend Detlef Dim in Munich, beautiful, and with this flannel by Fox Brothers, very light actually for a flannel. So, I started to be a little bit bolder and bolder. I waited more than 25 suits to be bold, but now I want to really express myself. And I always had in mind, said, why don't I do a yellow suit? Because I love this color yellow, and it's very underrated. Okay, it's not easy to pull off. So I went to this it's a made-to-measure. It's not bespoke. It's made-to-measure. That is to say, it's measured, it's crafted for you, but from an existing pattern. And it's not the same price, of course, as bespoke. It's, much less money. But very interesting people in Prague, Czech Republic. We wanted to try these people because we want also to open what we do to a broader audience, not in terms of YouTube, but in terms of you, gentlemen who want to acquire, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, because at this place, the owners in Prague, they can also craft beautiful suits for women. Just remember that, very interesting place for that. There's one of the 3 owners of the owners, because the owners is the name of the company, is a girl. She's a woman called Veronica. We are going more and more with Sonia to this kind of place, made to measure, because we think that it's also our duty to make what we do, what we say, what we advise available to a broader audience, to a broader crowd, because not everybody has $5,000 to $6,000 to put in a suit. And I understand that. When I started my sartorial journey myself, I had to save to buy my first suit at Cifonelli. So you see, it's a real decision. But at the same time, I would have been happy, and it was not existing back in the years, to have more affordable around 800, 1,000, 1,200. It's still an investment, but it's possible for most of us to do this. And this is why we are traveling with Sonia, and we try to meet as many made-to-measure places we can, because, of course, it's not made according to the gospel of tailoring, traditional by hand and on site, but for most of them, you can have beautiful garments crafted in Portugal, sometimes even overseas, but with Romania, for example, in Europe, and even further. But the point is not here. The point is, are they able to take properly your measurement, and are they able to do the alteration on site, which is the case of the owners in Prague? You see, so of course, if you are a seasoned sartorialist and you love bespoke tailoring, go to your tailor. Of course, there's no discussion about that. If you have the wallet, if you have the passion, go to your tailor. We have to protect this craft, which I consider almost a form of art. But at the same time, if you're a little bit younger in your sartorial journey, or if you don't have the means, or even the envy to spend that kind of money because you have to support your family, you have other fish to fry, as we say in French, you have something else to do, well, you can still be extremely elegant, going make to measure. That said, this yellow suit was a sensation in Prague. Why? Well, first of all, you can imagine a yellow suit, a full suit yellow, is a sensation everywhere you go, that's for sure. But in Prague, I remember very clearly, when they delivered the suit to me, after a few alterations, they were quite fast actually, I went outside with the suit. And you know, Prague is a very famous, beautiful city, by the way, incredibly beautiful city. The problem of incredibly beautiful city like Florence and Prague is that there's an incredible number of tourists. And sometimes it might be even difficult to walk in the street, literally. So can you picture that in your mind and maybe have a good laugh to say, okay, I go in the street in Prague with this fantastic yellow suit. And guess what? I stumble immediately on a crowd of tourists. You know, these people who are following a person with a sign. You know, I don't really like that. I'm sorry. That gives me a headache immediately. But there are followers, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 people. And I could see 50 or 60 faces doing this. When they were looking at me, they were literally gazing at me like that. And in their eyes, I could see the question mark. I said, what is that? Is that a local tradition? Is that a carnival somewhere? Is that something that they do here in Czech Republic? They wear yellow suit in the street, and they couldn't even understand. It was as if I was falling from the moon. Okay, this apart, for me, it was such a joy to express myself. Of course, if you are at the beginning of your sartorial journey, it may not be the first suit or even the 10th suit to do, but if you're bold enough, I know some young gentlemen, they really want to go all in, and they want to go far, and they want to express themselves, and they don't care. If you can pull off the gaze of others on you, that's the most important. If you can feel confident and nonchalant, then go for bold colors. This is very interesting. Red is very interesting. Yellow is super interesting. And if you want to really step out of the crowd, this is the way to go. Fabric, it's from Scabal. Scabal is a Belgian brand, beautiful fabric, of course, very famous. But this one is a simple Super 100. Not even 110, 20. It's a Super 100. It's a basic. It's beautiful, the beautiful hand. So you see, these super numbers, I think, they are a reflection of the past more and more. We don't really speak about that anymore. We did a lot of explanation on what it meant. It was some kind of marketing. Back in the years, I remember in the late 1990s, everybody was saying, is it a Super 120 or the Super 140 or Super 170? No. And now, little by little, we are coming back to a more reasonable thing, and it doesn't really matter. As long as the fabric is of good quality, as long as you feel good with it, and as long as the hand. Because today, the finishing process is more important than the finesse of the fiber. I'm not going to go too much into technical details, but so many people say, oh, my fiber is like 14 microns. Yeah, of course. And mine is 21 or whatever. But it doesn't make the difference. What makes the difference is the way the fabric is finished. And the hand of the fabric. You can have a very soft hand on a Super 100. This one, I can tell you, is very soft. And you can have something a little bit stronger even on a higher number. So it has really nothing to do. The point is, bet on the not usual suspect, but bet on people like Vitale Barberis, like Drago, like Piacenza, or Pacenza, it's more on the higher numbers, but also, of course, like Xenia, like Loro Piana, all these people. But even like Reda, for example, a little bit lesser known, but very good quality for the money. And, you know, it's important. Dormeuil also is a very good brand. So bet on the usual brands that are here since a long time, and trust your hand and your eye. And that's something I will never insist enough on it. Trust your eye and your hand more than any marketing message. Your eye and your hand in the sartorial world are your best friends. And if you're not sure of yourself, ask your wife. Because believe me, many people say, oh, I can't buy this, Mr. Jacquemin, because my wife, she's going to be pissed. You know my advice? include her. Make her engaged and take her to Prague at the owners, and you're not going to believe your eyes. She's going to go crazy and buy 3 or 4 suits, not for you, but for herself. I'm not kidding. It might happen, but this is what I wish you this, because it's such a wonderful thing to do this as a couple. I have the luck to do this with my wife. I know a few friends around the world who are doing this as couples, and it's so enjoyable to do this as a couple. Not to show off one more time, but just have pleasure. So I was suit number 6 for this episode. This double-breasted 6-on-2, 6 buttons, 2 active, by the owners in Prague and with a fabric by Skabal. Now let's move to the outfit number 7 of this episode, and this is a dinner jacket, a white dinner jacket. Some people say tuxedo. In France, we say smoking. I prefer dinner jacket. Formal, semi-formal, because the real formal is a white tie. The tailcoat, that's something different. But here, which is for us formal and for the real purist semi-formal, black tie, which is in this case white. And this is, I wanted to have this kind of outfit because I wanted to revive the spirit of Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca. We were coming back from India in a plane recently, or going to India. I don't know in which it was out going or coming from, but my wife, I think she watched Casablanca. Is that right, darling? Yes, she did. And I just realized that, it is exactly the same jacket as this one. Oh, I don't pretend to be as elegant as Humphrey Bogart, of course. His lapel was a little bit shorter than mine. But this beautiful jacket has been created for me, by a company, a young company called Massura, Massura. We're going to put the link in the description. They are in Munich, Germany, but they craft in Napoli, Italy. There are 2 young men, and what I like about these people is that they are the next generation. The owners in Prague, Massura in Munich, and a lot of addresses in France and everywhere around the world. They are these young sartorial entrepreneurs who are doing the job right. The problem in made-to-measure is that you can find anything. It's very difficult to find your way, because some people pretend to be made to measure and just take a few measurements and send these to a bad factory, and then you have no fit. And then you have these kind of people, these new entrepreneurs who are passionate. They do something which very few people do. Massura, for example, they go a little bit further than many of the made-to-measure salons. That is to say, they take your measurement, you choose your fabric, and then they send this to an atelier which is a handmade, not totally handmade, with a lot of hand work in Napoli, Italy, and then it comes back not done like most of the made-to-measure ateliers in the world. It comes for the first fitting. That is to say, it's not for the people who know how it works. It's not a basting fitting. It's a little bit more elaborate than a basting. A basting is a loose stitching. This is the first fitting that tailors do because they have a lot. They can see you and then readjust. This one came back, I would say, half finished with one sleeve, and then they readjust it for you and then send it back for the final crafting. And I like this idea. And for me, they call themselves semi-bespoke or almost bespoke. It's the best of the 2 worlds, That is to say, you can still intervene into the cut of your jacket during the first fitting, and the quality, of course, is paramount. It's beautiful. So in this case, Massura in Munich did a wonderful job, and I must say I'm very happy with what they did. The fabric is exceptional. It's from Dormeuil, once again, from Paris. It's a blend of cashmere, silk, and wool. This is beautiful. It's off-white. You see the class of it. And it is from a bunch called Celebration. Of course, that's a beautiful name. It's a beautiful black tie jacket, white, actually. So many of you have the question, because you said, Mr. Jacomet, you taught us in an older episode that the idea of a black tie is that all the men will be dressed with the same dress code in black, with a black tuxedo, in order to make their spouses shine. Yes, it's the idea, and they ask me, so how is it possible to wear a white jacket in a black tie even? You immediately step out of the crowd. So Are you messing up with this idea of being all the same to make the woman shine? And well, the answer is it's a complex answer, actually. Well, originally, the first steamboats that were crossing the Atlantic Ocean, it was traditional to wear different formal outfit, semi-formal, but I say formal for tonight, of black tie, because they call it a cruise black tie. It was the tradition to wear it white, and also because also for the summer formal events, it was acceptable to wear it white. Today, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, we have less and less and less occasions to be formal. We have less and less occasions to really feel at our best, So I think it's not breaking the rule to try a white tuxedo. Personally, I will feel very comfortable to wear it in a formal event, specifically if it's between, let's say, May and October, something like that. I will feel less comfortable to wear this during a winter black tie event. But once again, it's all in your head. You have to be able to put it off and to accept the fact that you're going to be an enormous white stain in the middle in an ocean of black. But it doesn't really matter, because it's all about nonchalance. If you can carry yourself with ease, you're going to have a black bow tie with a beautiful Marcella shirt, no problem. It will work very well, but you have to be ready to be noticed a little bit more than a normal tuxedo, which is most of the time black, or more and more now midnight blue, which is a beautiful color. Anyway, so with suit number 7, this white dinner jacket by Massura in Munich with a beautiful fabric from the brunch celebration by Dormeuil in Paris. And I can't finish this episode without presenting to you the jacket I've been probably wearing the most this last year. I would say this last 18 months, because it's the most handy jacket in the world. You have to have one like that in your wardrobe at one moment. You will not believe how many times you will grab this jacket, whether it's just to buy a baguette, because in France we go in the street and buy a baguette, or if you have to take your car to go to Whole Foods or whatever, and you don't have the right to prepare yourself, and you don't want to bother, you have to have a safari jacket. The safari jacket, it's a fantastic jacket. It goes with everything, every kind of shirts, every kind of pants. You can be formal, you can be chic, not really formal. You can be business, you can be chic, you can be casual, you can be sporty even. It doesn't really matter. With this, it goes with everywhere. And this safari jacket has been made for me by Mr. Pen, Maison Pen, P-E-N, like a pen. Great guy in Paris. It's a bespoke one, and the fabric is outstanding. It's from Holland & Sherry. Okay, it's green with a chevron. I think it's more a chevron than a herringbone, because herringbone is doing like this. Oh, by the way, you notice since the beginning, I have a problem with my finger. Okay, it's not on purpose. I explain to you what happened. I love beautiful knives. I treat myself a lot with beautiful knives from Japan, etc. And there's one thing with beautiful knives that they cut very well. And I love to cook, and I love to prepare a lot of things by myself. And I love to cook for my beautiful wife, and she knows I love that. This is the moment, it grounds me, I love to cook. And 2 days ago we had guests, and unfortunately I was preparing a homemade guacamole, and I was cutting the onions, and I cut a piece of my own finger. So I told my guest that it was really handmade and hand cut for sure, this guacamole. But anyway, so I just realized I had this, and maybe some of you have been wondering since like 40 minutes, so what is that on this finger? It's just because I just hurt myself. But anyway, so herringbone is like that. Chevron is like that. It's not exactly the same pattern. You understand? There's a layover. I don't know how you say that. There's an overlap with the herringbone, and the chevron is like that. We may find some pictures to show you, but remember that. I don't want you to become too obsessional with this kind of thing, but the chevron patterns add to this safari jacket some kind of a interesting flair. It's very interesting, and Sonia can testify. I've been wearing it pretty much all season. It's more like a summer, spring, because it's online. unstructured, it's extremely light, but it's a beautiful piece of garment. You can even wear a tie under it. It works very well. So I encourage you, it's very serious what I say, even if you are at the beginning of the sartorial journey, consider a safari jacket, specifically if you don't feel very comfortable with wearing a suit, you feel it's too formal for you, too business for you, you want to be a little bit more casual, safari jacket is an excellent alternative. So that was the last, number 8, and the last garment of this update on my wardrobe is a safari jacket by Maison Pen in Paris with a beautiful chevron, pure linen chevron with a chevron motif by Holland and Sherry. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We still have a lot of suits and jackets to come. Well, I say a lot. Yeah, actually, we have some special projects. For example, in India, I fell in love with the ethnic Indian jackets. You know, this traditional jacket with which called the Nehru color, the stiff colors. I know if you are following our Instagram, I posted a few of them, and I literally fell in love with this style. So I want to explore some new tracks. But if you take away something from this series, first of all, if you didn't see the number 1, 2, 3, 4 of this series, please do, because it's not only about how big my wardrobe is and how proud I'm. No, it's about follow me in my sartorial journey and understand, maybe don't do the same mistake as I did, but at the same time, take away a little bit of inspiration and advice to make your jacket and your suit last longer. Because this is the idea of all this series. I don't encourage you to buy 20 suits or 40 suits like I do, because that's my job. You don't need all that. My aim here, my purpose, our purpose on this channel, and more specifically on this series, is to give you the right tools to decide for yourself, depending on your lifestyle, depending on the climate of the place you are living, depending if you're traveling a lot or not, depending of if your wife is engaged with you in this journey or not. All these criterion. And the idea of this series is to give you some inspiration and some tools to choose well, to choose better, to buy less, but to buy better. And that's for sure will please your spouses. I give you an appointment to the next episode of Sartorial Talks. In the meantime, be elegant, be nice to others, be good people, encourage others around you, be kind to every person you can, because this is what we are missing in this world. And please take care of yourself. Bye-bye, my friends.